Okay, guys, today I am going to just walk you through this 20 largest cities in the United States daily geography review. So you see you have a map, you have a compass rose. This is sort of just decoration, so we can sort of ignore that. You do have your oceans. You have the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. They don't label it, but you know that's the Gulf of Mexico. And then you have our country borders. You have Mexico to the south and Canada to the north. Every state is also labeled. I mean, I know we don't need those labels because we know what we're doing, but they're there in case somebody would need them. And then over here to the side is the legend. And in this case, the legend is just numbers. So I look over here for the number 1. Here it is. And I know that little dot by the number 1 is New York City. Okay, and then if I look for number 2, it's over here. Number 2 is Los Angeles. That's where Los Angeles is. If I look for number 3, it's right here. And that is Chicago. And then looky here, number 4. That's us, Houston. So you can just, if it asks you about a certain city and you need to find it, you just go here, say, okay, they're asking me about San Francisco. That's number 13. There's number 13, and I know right where it is. So that's why that is very useful. One other thing that's we talked about on the last map, but I want to point them out again. This, and this. Those are the Great Lakes. There is a question about the Great Lakes. So it's these 5 lakes that are drawn but not labeled up here. They're between the United States and Canada. So there are the 5 Great Lakes. So that'll be important to know. Also, don't miss this little detail. I'm just going to put a box around it. It's telling us how they know. When did they figure out that New York City was the biggest city, and that Los Angeles was the second biggest city, and that Chicago was the third biggest city? It was in the census, and they do censuses. Is that correct? Probably. Every 10 years. And so we're actually doing one right now. Your parents have probably gotten something in the mail to fill out and send back. I know we did because we are now doing the 2020 census, but there hasn't been one since 2010. So they can't tell us how many people were exactly living in Los Angeles, say, in 2014, because they only do the census every 10 years. So until we get the new data from 2020, everything we do is based on the last one, which is 2010. So that's important too. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is that there are quite a few math problems, believe it or not, on this one. And I want to remind you of something. Look at my lovely problem. You know, Ms. Schwarak may teach you fancier ways than what I do, but here's my biggest tip for you is that these are very large numbers, right? And you need to just make sure you're lining up. Like in this one, I had a number in the millions and a number in the 100,000s. So I want to make sure I line up my ones and my tens and my hundreds and so on when I don't have the same number of digits in both problems. So make sure that you're doing that properly. I'd ask you not to use a calculator, please, right? We're in 5th grade. We can subtract. I don't know if you have to add anything. I'd have to go back and look at the questions. But there's a good bit of math, and I know you can do it. And of course, if you have any questions about anything on this map, on the questions, please let me know. And this should be turned in, the questions, the answers, by Sunday at 4 p.m. And again, you don't have to print this out. You can just look at this on the screen. You can write your answers on a different sheet of paper, and that will be perfectly fine. So guys, have a good day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.